Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Afro? You ain't tell me you was finna go live. I'm hyped.
Uh, yeah, I announced this like last night. I put this up last night, and this space is really in response to the space I was in yesterday. I was in a space yesterday that you saw with Uncle Luther, I think his name was.
Uncle Coon.
Yeah, Uncle Cool, Uncle Tom, and he was talking about black unity. Why can't we all just come together? And I want to make a space because everybody seems to be making the spaces now about why can't we all just come together? Why can't we all just get along and agree to disagree on certain things and we all work together as one big family? And this space is going to be me explaining why that has not worked. And I would like to get the family's opinion on this. But before I do, let me monologue. It hasn't worked because what we need is a black agenda. You can't unify, or what we've been unsuccessful in doing is unifying just because we're all black. Nobody else unifies just because their own ethnic group. They unify because of an ideology, because of a code of ethics. You have religious groups. They unify because whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the Old Testament, New Testament, or whatever group, they have a set of rules that they unify under. We can and they might have their issues here and there, but they all unify under that one specific group of people. I mean, group of rules. When it comes to white society, hold on. When it comes to white society, white people unify under white supremacy. White people try to unify under white supremacy, and any white person that goes against white supremacy, they can be executed. We can look at Kyle Rittenhouse as an example. Kyle Rittenhouse went out to go kill black people, but white people stopped him, so he executed them. That's the long and short of the story. And the dominant society allowed Kyle Rittenhouse to get away with that because Kyle Rittenhouse was going after black people, and because the white people that he killed were going against the rule. And the rule is you always stand up for the white person. You don't ever become a nigger lover. If you're a nigger lover, then you're subject to being murdered. Asians have a set of rules, a code of conduct. When it comes now, there's a lot of infighting among these groups of people. There's infighting among white people. You can look at the feminist movement where you got white women fighting white men. But when it comes to our black ass, they all get on the same page. They all get on the same page. You see the damn race soldiers, it can be men, it can be women. You got female cops out here killing black people. You got male cops out here killing black people. You got the Karens blocking people from getting in their apartment, calling the police. They work together against us. They don't have to agree on everything. The issue is, and something I wanted to say in the space yesterday was it's almost, let me say, a good analogy to use is the American military. In the American military, you have different branches. You have the Army, you have the Marines, you have the Navy, and you have the Air Force. And then you have different people who do different things in those different branches. You have people who are in tech. They're the ones who are doing the stuff on the computer. You have people who are in communications. You have people who give the commands. You have soldiers on the ground. You have people who repair the vehicles and whatnot. You have everybody doing everything. But they all pledge allegiance to the American flag. They all have the same allegiance to one thing. He was saying yesterday, well, why can't all black people, why can't we just respect everybody else's agenda? We can't, and that is the problem, because we can respect anybody's individuality. I can respect the fact that, I might think this way, I might believe this way, I might move this way or do this thing, and you might do the complete opposite. I might listen to this, you might not listen to this. I might like doing this, you might not like doing this. You can have different religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. You can have um, different backgrounds, different habits, different sexual orientations. It doesn't matter. All of these things, you can be an individual as long as you have allegiance to the American flag. We're in the military, but now we don't have allegiance to the American flag. We would have allegiance to the Black agenda. And the Black agenda, to put it shortly, is Black empowerment. As long as you have allegiance to Black empowerment, it should be no problem. And the issue is that a lot of Black people don't have an allegiance to Black empowerment. This is why we cannot respect other people's agenda. The Navy wouldn't respect the Air Force if the Air Force said, okay, yeah, I know we're in a different branch, but we're going to pledge our allegiance to a different flag. They have respect for each other. They might argue back and forth. Sometimes you see them making jokes about, yeah, the Navy is really tough and the Air Force is really soft and their training is weak. And they make jokes back and forth. But they still pledge their allegiance to one single flag. We can't respect anybody who doesn't not pledge their allegiance to the flag, but we can't respect everybody's individual agendas. That's the point. We have too many people with their own agenda. Well, my agenda, your agenda might be a Black first agenda, but my agenda is a gay agenda. I want to put my sexuality, who I want to have sex with. That's my primary goal in life, is prioritizing who I have physical sex with. That's my priority in life. Okay, well, my agenda is to the Democrats. Okay, so I'm going to put the Blackness second or third behind them. Well, my agenda is to my gender. I'm a woman, so I'm going to put me being a female before me being Black. That is the problem. And that is what we can't respect. And that's what has kept Black unity down. That's what's preventing Black unity from working, because everybody has their own agenda. If everybody had the same agenda, it wouldn't be a problem. That's the issue we're having with the diaspora right now. You can, Uncle Tom was saying, well, when the police pull you over, they're not going to ask if you're a descendant of slaves. Yeah, we've heard that forever. We've been hearing that for the longest time. And that's as true as that is, what is the agenda in the diaspora? What is the agenda in the diaspora? Because it's not a Black first agenda. Despite what anybody tells you, it's not the older generation that's not Black first, and the younger generation, they get it. It's not the. Hold on.
I'm sorry. It's nothing. Go ahead.
Okay. The younger generation, they have the same agenda that the older generation has. You have people come into our space and they say, well, you know what? I'm Somalian first. I'm Muslim, and then I'm Somalian, and then I'm Black. I'm going to put my Blackness third. That's the, no, I'm Muslim, I'm Somalian, I'm African, then I'm Black. So their Blackness is the fourth thing of importance to them. That is what keeps Black unity down, because everybody else puts their ethnic group first. Even these religious groups, the Arabs, despite the fact that Islam is a religion that anybody can follow, you don't have to be Arab to follow Islam. The Arabs, they put their ethnicity before their religion in a lot of cases. Not all cases, but in a lot of cases. There's been so many videos I've seen where Arabs don't really like Black Muslims in their masjid, because they put their ethnicity first. They kind of give Black Muslims the side eye when they walk into the masjid. Now, they're following the same religion. Everybody's supposed to be following the same religion, but they put their ethnicity first. And a lot of Black Muslims have an issue with that, because they don't even feel welcome despite following the same religion. Everybody else puts their ethnicity first. When the Stop Asian Hate propaganda came up last year, you didn't see Asians say or separate that. You didn't see Asians. I'm mixing it up. Asians, not agents. Asians. You didn't see them say, okay, stop South Korea hate, stop Vietnamese hate, stop Chinese hate, stop Japanese hate. They didn't separate that. They all bantered together under the agenda of we're doing this for the Asian race. You didn't see them separate that when it comes to sexuality. You didn't see, well, I'm a gay Asian, so I'm going to put my gayness first and I'm going to say stop gay Asian hate because I want to include the homophobia in the Asian community. You didn't see not one of them do it. And if one of them attempted to do it, that person would have been checked among the rest of the group. You didn't see an Asian feminist come up there and say, well, stop Asian women hate because we have to talk about the sexism in the Asian community. Every single last one of them said, you know what? All of our differences, we got wars going on with North Korea, South Korea, Japan, China, but we're all going to put that to the side and we're all going to move forward for Asians. I'm going to give you another example about Asians. Peter Liang, who shot and killed Akai Gurley. You had Asians out there protesting because they felt like, well, if white cops get to kill black people, then why can't Asian cops kill black people? We should be given the same privileges as the white cops do. So you saw Asians all around with different backgrounds, different ethnicities. It wasn't just the Japanese, it wasn't just the Chinese, it wasn't just the Vietnamese or the Koreans. All different types of Asians, like, hey, despite the fact I'm Chinese, you're Japanese, we're still Asian. So I'm going to protest for this person because I want the empowerment of the Asian race. That is what we don't have when it comes to Black society. We have every group has their own individual agenda. You have some Black people all like you can't separate me from my sexuality. I mean, we had what Chias Giselle came up here despite the fact that he was saying I'm black first, I'm black first. He was like, well, my trans, me being a transgender, quote unquote, is just as important as me being black. That is the issue. That is the issue that we're having because you have people out there acting as if who they want to have sex with is just as important as their race. You have people acting as if their gender, whether they were born with a penis or a vagina, is just as important as their race. You have people who are acting as if whether they're a Democrat or a Republican is just as important as their race. You have people out there who are acting as if where they were born, whether you were born in America, whether you're a foundational, or whether you were born somewhere in the diaspora, you have people acting as if their nationality is just as important as their race, and it's not. This is why Black unity has not worked because there has not been a collective agenda amongst the diaspora. And I mean the whole diaspora, including America. Once we get the collective agenda, we can have all the individuality we want. Everybody can believe what they want. Everybody can do what they want. You can be as, separated from I guess the group as you want to be, as long as you're following the same agenda. So with that being said, I know we got a lot of people who want to speak. If you want to speak, can you get to your hands? I'm just gonna accept in the order that people came up here. So
Afro, real quick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier when you were talking about white people getting on code. Did you see that that bodega kid, that white kid from the bodega? He has like hella job offers after getting fired. Did you see like that little TikTok thing?
No, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Basically, some like little white kid blew up on TikTok and like, just long story short, he got fired from his job because he was being like, I don't know, he was just saying hella triggering shit that like probably liberals getting pissed at, and he basically got fired. But now he has like so many job offers. Like I'm gonna put it. Can I put it in the jumbotron if I find it real quick?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I bet.
Okay. Beatzilla, you can go ahead. Shout out to everybody in the room. I appreciate you guys for being here.
Hey, Black First, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to Afro for holding this space. One thing I want to say about the Black unity, and it hasn't not worked. Going back to what you just said, and kind of what happened last night, for those who weren't up for that space. Last night showed me a huge sign that the Democrats are absolutely worried about losing control of the Black populace. And so we heard a whole lot about this unity, and we're not doing subgroups and all of this. We have had nothing but subgroups all of this time. When foundational Black Americans finally start standing up and saying, hey, we run the yard, now all of a sudden, because let's remember and keep it 1,000, Luther Campbell is an immigrant. So he is speaking from a certain perspective, and of course the Democrats do stand to win. Now, he as an individual can say how much money he got, but he know good and damn well he's advocating for some of those, I'll also say suspected or alleged organizations that advocate for other individual groups to get in upon our reparations. And I think right now we're seeing him having help from the Democrats doing so. So that's exactly why Black unity has not worked. These people refuse to unify with us and only come here to unify with the dominant society. With that, I'll land my plane for now.
Exactly. But now, before we get to Black Lioness, I want to touch on what you said. The Democrats are very scared. They're scared because Black people have been blindly following them since, forever. Well, not necessarily since forever, but Black people have been blindly loyal to the Democrats. We've been the only group loyal to a political party like that, period. But especially the Democrats, there's nothing that they can do that we feel is too offensive for us to vote. There's nothing Obama did that Black people felt too offensive for us to vote. We don't vote for the Republicans like that. Not a lot of us vote for the Republicans like that. A lot of us don't really vote independent like that. Some people, and I was down in South Carolina, some people just vote Democrat just because they won't vote for anything else. Either they'll vote for a Democrat or they won't vote. And they're going to vote. They're just going to vote for a Democrat. If they see the D by the person's name, a Democrat, they're going to vote. They don't know what the person is about. That person could have been a Republican yesterday and a Democrat today. But if they see they're a Democrat, oh well. And they're scared of that. Now, what we're having is, and I'm going to get to you, Black Lion, is in just 1 second, sister. But what the issue is that immigrants like Uncle Luther, and I'm going to call him out specifically, they're scared because they're realizing that foundationals are sick and tired of carrying the weight of the diaspora and being disrespected. Black unity works in their favor when we're the ones doing the work. They don't really want Black unity, because if they wanted Black unity, they would be going to their people and they would be preaching Black unity to their people. You don't need to come to foundational Black Americans and say, we're all Black, and if we get pulled over, the police are going to treat us the same. You don't need to come to us and tell us that. We've been the ones telling you guys that. You guys have been the one acting as if you guys are something beyond Black. That's been your group of people. That hasn't been our group of people. You're preaching to the choir anytime you come to a foundational Black American and try to preach about, well, we're all Black, ain't we? I mean, white supremacists hate us all the same. No, you're preaching to the choir. We've been the one trying to tell you that. If you really want to preach that, you need to go to your people and you need to tell your people all this division, all this tribalism that we've been practicing and that we continue to practice. We need to stop that. So they don't want Black unity. They don't want to bring Black people together. What they want to do is they want foundational Black Americans to settle down. They want us to be all like, how we were before. And yeah, everybody's black. So we're going to continue to do the heavy lifting and everybody else is going to benefit. And we're not going to check any disrespect. We're not going to address the fact that the problems come from them. We're not going to address the fact that most of the points on the board are from FBA. They don't want us to do that anymore. So that's why they're preaching to us. We're all black now. We're all black. We're all black. If we were all black and we should all be having the same agenda and we should all be respecting each other, why do you guys not go to the Nigerians? I can't even pronounce that dude's name from the other day who was talking about Jim Clyburn being lynched. Why are you guys not going to him and saying that? Don't come to us. We've been the ones preaching that. Now, with that being said, Black Lioness, you can go ahead.
Be one to the family. Thanks, Afro, for holding this space. I was waiting on it to come. And not trying to correct you. That was Clarence Thomas he was talking about.
Oh yeah, okay, my fault.
Yeah, let's just clarify it so we don't want anybody running with anything and trying to misrepresent it. You know what we're talking about here. But also, like Beat said, last night was a damn shame because it came right after Jason's space. I meant Jason's live, and I jumped in just to see, what the talk was about because I did, catch one of those earlier spaces where one of those immigrant guys was calling the young black lady bitches and hoes. Her mother is a bitch, her grandmother is a bitch, her daddy is a bitch, and shit like that. Where they're talking about, oh, keep it peaceful, but they're letting this type of stuff go on. So right there, I noticed that there is division. Now, I'm a college graduate. I have been amongst all different type of African immigrants where, they have not rubbed me the wrong way. But, coming into these spaces, I am definitely seeing that the majority of them are very dysfunctional, delusional. They have those in wars going on within their own culture. So now they're bringing it onto us because we're trying to accomplish something. Um, and just, overall observing, it's to the point where I have come to the conclusion. I'm so FBA, so foundational. My people built this country. Why would I go back anywhere where I'm not welcome? I don't know if you guys heard about the story where, because a guy was in the space with Uncle Luke talking about, oh, the countries over there in Africa are giving us chances to come back. Two women from America, they were foundational black women. They went over there, and I forgot whether if it was Nigeria or one of those places over there, but they went over there, bought land, and before we knew it, those two women was dead over there. So why the fuck would I go back over there? Then not only that, the more I continue to sit here and think about it, they just jealous because they wasn't the slaves that was taken. They wasn't the ones that rose from they wasn't the rose that rose from the concrete through it all. They're not the ones out there putting in that work when shit go left for us. We out there in them streets. We get out there every single time. No black foundational person has sat back and taken white supremacy. We has always spoke out against it, rose above it, and even as we're trying to do that now and get the message that the Democrats are not looking out for our best interests, that yes, a lot of black people do vote for Democrats and things like that, but that's not always the way to go because we're seeing the effects of generational effects on how they have been just discarding us after they received the vote. So it's just like, they talk all that shit, but they not actually putting in the work. I have not seen one African stand up and say, I'm putting in the work, besides just, talking about what Jason is doing, talking about what Tariq is doing, talking about what Afro is doing, talking about what Professor Truth is doing. Like, that's bitch nigga shit. We don't do that. That's not foundational at all. That's bitch nigga shit. That's whining shit. What Jason say last night, that's beta male shit. That's what they're doing. And the more we continue to let them be the cancer to us, because that's exactly what they are. They are the cancer to us. We will never get ahead. So no, I'm not looking to come together with no motherfucker that's against the agenda. And like you said, before, I'm a mother, I'm a woman, And before I was all of that, I was black first. So and I land my plane on that. Thanks for holding this space, Afro.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let me touch on that. But
No problem, brother.
Nikki, did you want to say something?
You can touch on that, but just so you know, I put that in a jumbotron. The two ladies that went abroad to Africa to get land and ended up being killed.
Thank
I
you,
posted
Nikki. I
that up in the
appreciate that
jumbotron.
because
Yeah.
they like to say we make up lies. They like to say that we don't know what we're talking about. They like to say that we're giving out infactual facts. In reality, I just seen Tariq post somewhere in the Dominican Congo that they're over there eating each other, and that's what they want us to go back to.
Okay, and let me touch on that. Let me touch on that real quick.
Eating each other?
Yeah,
Yeah,
go look
there's
on Tariq's
cannibalism
page.
going in there. But the thing is that they want okay. And I said this in the space before. We should have the ability to go back if we wanted to, but our people built this land anyway. I mean, if I wanted to go back, I would definitely go back for a vacation or so. Maybe get a house down there and chill down there over the holiday season, maybe possibly. But I will always live here. My family built this country here. And if you have pride for that, you're not going to want to abandon what your ancestors built here, the work your ancestors put in here. Our people fought and died so their generation, their descendants can have a better future. I'm not going to say, well, you know what, it's just too hard. I'm going to take the easy way out. And let's be honest. White supremacy is global. They keep talking about going back to Africa as if Africa is some Wakanda that you can only access if you have some type of blood code or something like that, that white supremacists are restricted from. You have um, Asians going over there to Africa and beating up the Africans. You see it in videos on a regular basis. You see videos of America sending missiles and drones and strikes and killing a whole bunch of Africans and laying bombs there. Hold on, mute your mic, brother. You see all of that stuff going on. You see them.
Connection's not working.
Mute up English.
Hold on, you gotta mute your mic. You see that going on, and that doesn't. And I don't feel happy saying that. I saw one image, one small little video about a whole bunch of Africans, I guess, being killed or something like that. And I'm not sure where. They were just piled up.
I think it was Spain or Morocco.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, they were in Morocco trying to cross over into Spain at the border, and they were just like bludgeoned to death. Like, that's unacceptable. But at the end of the day, the Moroccan immigrants are over here. They're not speaking on that. They're speaking on what we're doing instead of what's going on in their homeland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me touch on that real quick. They have problems. They're making it seem like this is some type of paradise that we should go back to. They have problems over there. That's why a lot of them are coming over here. A lot of them, when we talk about what about the problems, they talk about, well, it's the government. Africa is not a paradise to go back to. And they don't welcome Black Americans back there like that. Do you know how many stories of Black Americans going to Africa and telling how much they get overcharged for things that white people don't? Do you think that we haven't gone to Africa and seen the difference of how we've been treated versus how white people get treated? White people get to damn near go to Africa and get everything for fucking free. So the Asians as well too. So it's not like Africa is like, oh, FBA, please come back over here. Please, we love you to come back over here. They're not doing that. And I have an issue too, is because they do a lot of complaining in response to what we are doing. That space yesterday that I was in, I'm all like, why are you complaining about our response? It's like that kid in high school that would always pick with you and always bully you and hit you. And you would be telling everybody, you tell the teachers, and they wouldn't do anything about it. You tell everybody, you warn him to stop, him or her, whoever, to stop. and they kept on doing it every single day. And then the second you knock that person upside the head, now everybody's looking at you like, oh my God, why did you do that? That's such an overreaction. You didn't have to take it that far. Well, all of the times I was trying to warn you about this person, all of the times I was trying to get this person to stop, the person wouldn't stop, and nobody seemed to care about what was happening to me. And then the second I did something about it, it's an overreaction. And now you want to police my response. I don't like that. I don't like policing the response to disrespect if you're not going to address the disrespect in the first place. Address where the problem came from. Address where the problem stems from. The problem stems from that person disrespecting me first, that person undermining me first, and shucking and jiving for white supremacy first. And we've been warning them as politely as possible, and they've been ignoring all of our warnings. And then the second we say something, the second we are like, okay, well, we'll pull up on you. It's guys, we don't really want a civil war now, do we? Come on. No, it's none of that anymore. It's not. All of the warning has stopped. It's time for action now. So we're doing what we're supposed to be doing now. I don't like that you're policing our response because you never address what they're doing. Now, when you said Black Lion is when you said they don't care about what's going on in their country, a lot of them honestly don't. They want to complete they leave their country with the hopes of never going back. Let's just be honest. A lot of them leave their country with the hopes of never going back. The Haitians was getting whipped at the border on horsebacks by white people like this was chattel slavery, and you didn't see an uproar in Florida about this from the Haitian community. You really didn't see a lot of Haitians say anything. You didn't see mass protests from Haitians or Pan-Africanists. You didn't see them saying anything about it. But then when we say, you know what, we're not just gonna rock with Haitians blindly anymore. Then here comes the Haitians. Then here comes the Pan Africanists. Like, guys, aren't we all black? Don't you care? Don't you care what's going on? That person who came into Jason's space the other day, he was from the Congo. I forgot exactly where he was from. He was all like, well, I mean, don't you guys care what's happening to our people? Don't you guys care about justice? Don't you guys care? Don't you care? That's your people. You should be the one on the front lines trying to fight and save your people. Don't come running to us. Why should we care more about what happens in your homeland than you do? Why are we always the ones taking the first steps to fight against white supremacy?
And can I just say one more thing, Afro,
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
understand? I think it's more so because we are, as foundational Black Americans, we are such a loving culture, loving people. When we do see things like that going on, whether if it's here or in the diaspora anywhere, with the Black family, we look at that as an injustice for us as well. So we are always and will, whenever we come up out of this phase, I don't know when, but we have always been the people who rode for our people, no matter where they were on this globe. We have always put the best foot forward for our people. We have always stood up and demanded justice for, people in other countries where, it has no effect on us. We already dealing with what we got going on here in America, but yet we're putting on a cape for what they got going on in Africa and demanding justice for them. So I think that is our fault, where we are looking at each other as one. But like my grandmother told me, she's a Black Panther member, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk. All skin folk ain't your kinfolk. And you don't have to ride for them just because they the same color, because them be the same ones that'll stab you in your back. So I think that's just it, where we have to stop being so quick to defend people when in reality we really don't know what the hell they be having going on, where it's always a detriment to us at the end. And I'll leave my plane there. Thanks, Afro, for holding this space. I appreciate what you and the New Black Media has been doing, putting me up on game, and I'm going to continue to listen. You could go ahead and drop me so someone else can get up here and speak, and we can hear words of encouragement.
Well, thank you very much, sister. I appreciate you speaking. Let me see something. Okay. Before we get to the hands, I know you brothers want to speak. Before we get to the hands, I want to say I view Black people as a global family. You have your immediate family, and then you have your distant cousins and aunties and uncles and stuff. I don't want any Black person around the world to be harmed in any way. Now, of course, I feel more closely connected to my Black American family, my foundational family. I feel much more closely connected to you all because we're of the same branch. In the big melanated family tree, we're the same branch of people. But we have that branch over there on the other side. I don't want that branch to die. I don't want anything bad to happen to that branch. And we've been doing that for the longest time. We have to understand that stuff, us fighting for other people's causes, that's not easy. That can be very harmful if the people we fight for, if they stab us in the back. I want you guys to remember Botham John. He was a Nigerian. He was sitting in his apartment, and then Amber Geiger bust in there and killed him. Just walked in his apartment and shot him to death, claiming she thought it was her apartment and she thought he was a burglar. As impossible as that was, she busted in there and she shot him and killed him. Now we all know that she was lying. You had two witnesses. One of the witnesses, whose name is Bunny, and I remember seeing the interview Phil Scott did with her. She lost her job because she tried to testify against Amber Geiger. It was another foundational Black American who lost his job, who lost his life, I'm sorry, because he testified against Amber Geiger. You have Black Americans who actually went out of their way and sacrificed. She's on the run, last I hear, because she's been getting death threats. She lost her apartment because she had to run away. So she went above and beyond and sacrificed pretty much everything for this brother's to avenge this brother's death. The other brother, I forgot his name, and I apologize for doing so. The other brother, he got shot in the face, and the police said it was a quote unquote drug deal after he testified, despite the fact that the dude had no history of selling drugs before. Black Americans did all of that. We pulled up the receipts on Amber Geiger, showed her sexting right after murdering somebody, showed all the racist posts she was making on Facebook. We did all of that work for a Nigerian brother. And then when his little brother, his family got on stage, they said, I don't want you to go to jail. I forgive you. I love you. Can I give you a hug? So it's very important that we recognize we can't just sacrifice ourselves for everybody anymore. And their family did that to get the bag, and the family didn't even get the bag. The police flipped that on them and said, well, technically Amber Geiger was off duty, so that means y'all don't get a bag. Ha, see you. This brother, he literally gave the person who murdered his older brother a hug in the courtroom. We can't just sacrifice ourselves for anybody anymore. We can't just go out there and lead the charge. We see somebody being harmed, a justice somewhere, anywhere is a justice everywhere. We can't do that anymore. We have a bad history of going out there running for any and everybody, and then that person are like, well, thank you. Now I'm going to go say, I forgive them, go home, and let me get this bag. Well, you got police busting people upside the head, and after they get the knocks upside the head, after they get arrested, then you get out there and you say, oh, I forgive you. And then you get the settlement check, and the other person gets a hospital bill. Because you're not on the same agenda that the person who was fighting for you was. We can't do that anymore. Now, I think, Ryan, you had your hand up next.
No, Bill was before me.
Okay, B-Zilla, you can go ahead.
Okay, I'm just going to chime in on two things real quick. The first thing is, the world expects foundational Black Americans to act as security guards. even down to the dominant society. I mean, I used to have my neighbors that would always park close to me, and then I started figuring like, why are they always trying to park in other people's spots to be so close to my car? And I figured it out. I was like, you know what it is? I was like, these people know ain't nobody around here finna mess with my car. So they'll purposely park close to mine just to avoid their cars getting tampered with. So yeah, they automatically look at us as like security guards. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch on was in that space last night with the cat talking about repatriation. And so what he's talking about was repatriation to Africa, which has already been done. Now, of course, just like you already alluded to, white supremacy is global. So when I start hearing that conversation in the midst of like Luther Campbell and this other Stephen dude he had with him, that let me know that these people are gathering information from the spaces and all of these different content creators, and they're coming up trying to mesh some kind of democratic lingo into what we're doing. And it's like, that's what I heard got from that last night is about, well, man, we all trying to be, because when you asked him about the diaspora of Black folks, he really started narrowing it down. No, I'm just talking about Blacks in America. I was like, that's a first. Usually we hear Pan-Africanism. Nah, that was a whole different conversation. What they want to do is be pan-reparationists. And by the way, let's all get together. That's what the unity conversation is coming from American Black immigrants. It's all about the money and the protection. And we ain't doing that no more. And that's all I had to say on that piece.
I'm going to say this. My dad told me when I was younger, I don't even remember how old I was. I really don't. I was a young child. I was a little child. And he told me that you should want for your brother what you want for yourself. And originally when he told me that, I didn't like the fact that he told me that, because I wanted to be special. I wanted to be better. Whatever he had, I wanted better than him. How am I special if he has what I have? And then as I grew up and I started to mature, I realized that I don't necessarily want, if that's my brother, I want him to have better than me. I don't want him to just have what I have. I want him to have more than what I have. If I have a house, I want him to have a bigger house. I wish better for my brother than I do for myself. And that's something that I grew up and I matured and realized the wisdom of what he said. Okay. You have Africans and Caribbeans in the Congo. They're trying to fight the European countries to get their reparations. And I say that's good for them. I know one case of Jamaica, they're trying to do that. There's another country in the Caribbean, they're trying to do that. And I say that's good for them. I want them to have it. I know it doesn't apply to me. I'm not Jamaican. I know I'm not going to get anything, but I will want them to have it. But it's something sick when they're in this country and they feel as if, well, if I don't get slavery reparations, I don't want anybody to have it. That's the mentality that they have with us. They have the mentality of, well, if I can't get it, nobody can. We don't have that mentality. You haven't seen a single foundational complaint about the fact that we don't get Jamaican reparations or any Caribbean or African reparations. We're cheering that on. We're all like, okay, that's good for them. I hope you guys get it. And they're over here saying that we don't deserve it. Now, if it was Black reparations, they be the ones like, oh yeah, we definitely should get it. We should get it. Let me bring my grandma over here and she should get it too. But we're saying it's Black American reparations. We're saying it's slavery reparations, and you don't get it unless you're a descendant of slaves. They're like, oh, okay. Well, in that case, I don't want it, and I don't want you to have it either. That's the mentality. That's why Black unity has not worked, because they don't have the same agenda. Ryan, you can unmute yourself.
Afro, I ain't even gonna lie. I low-key was about to come in here with your little beat thumping just to clown that Black. I'm okay. So anyway, I know because none of y'all be following DJ Axe podcast. But so he sat down with Candace Owens, and I watched that last night. And let me tell you, her vitriol, her hatred for FBA women is off the charts. She literally is still upset over getting bullied in elementary and high school. She's still mad about. She literally talked about it in her interview. She said, "Oh, the other black girls didn't want to hang with me because I was in the higher learning classes, and they called me white, and I wore my hair straight." I was cringing at the mouth. I know none of y'all watch DJX podcast. I know y'all gonna watch the Tariq interview. Watch this Candace Owens clip. Torian, Beatzilla, all Afro, all y'all do a little YouTube clip. It's so cringe. It is so cringe. It's like I was cringing through my teeth, bruh. It was bad. It was so bad. Like, y'all need to low-key check it out, because she was just saying that in her community she had no friends. All the black girls wouldn't hang with her, all the white girls wouldn't hang with her, just being a total social outcast, and I was crying. It was hilarious. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Just because she was crying and she was upset, that makes me want to check it out.
She wasn't actually like crying, but she was like to DJ, "Oh, they don't accept us. They don't like our ways. They don't like our, all that bullshit."
Nine
know what?
times out of 10, she was straight up lying. I heard that Candace dealt with a lot of abuse from white students and white people as she was coming up.
That's what I
Nine
heard
times out of
too.
10, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's it. That's what I heard too.
And
Nine
not to
times out of
mention,
10, she was making that up, and she just wanted to say something negative about a black American. That's all.
And
she
you know
li-
what's funny? You know what's funny about that? You have all of these second and third generation immigrants who complain about how black Americans abused them, how black Americans mistreated them. They make it seem, let them tell it. They went to school one day and they was all like, "Hey, my brother, how are you doing today?" And then we were all like, "Shut up, you African booty scratcher." And we were just making fun of them for no reason. We were picking on them for no reason. And we were the only ones doing it. Notice how they never complain about how white people fuck with them. They never complain about when I was in school, my teacher treated me racist. My teacher was racist to me. They don't complain about any other group. They don't mention what they did. The fact that they would make fun of the fact that our people were slave descendants, how they would make fun of the fact that quote unquote our people don't have culture, how they would make fun of the fact, oh, we got a flag and we're so proud and blah blah blah. But let them tell it. They just came in one day and we was all like, ha ha, you darky, I hate you because you're from Africa, you African booty scratcher, ha ha. And they make it seem like we like almost cartoonishly, we would pick them up and throw them in the trash and I'm shipping this trash can back to Africa where you belong. They let them tell it. That's what happened to them every day. But they don't say that about white people. You don't see the same people who complain about us, they never complain about white people at all. White people are the nicest people in the world to them.
bruh, it's insane to me that she's basing this off of high school and elementary school. She is a grown woman with almost 2 kids. She's pregnant right now. How the fuck are you still crying about high school? What the fuck? That's actually that's out of this world to me. That is so sad. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a narcissist. And you know what? I've used the term African booty scratcher. I've had it used against me. I've never said it to anyone other than a foundational Black American. And I've never had anyone other than a foundational Black American call me an African booty scratcher. And the worst memory I've had from my childhood, because I've been picked on a lot for different things, is my first grade teacher sitting with her assistant making me reread, what do you call it? The book called Black Sample. I know I've brought this up on stage, but I'm gonna bring it up again. They made me read it over and over while they sat there and laughed, and made me recite the part where they talk about the drums over and over again, and just looked at me and laughed. That's what I remember. I remember what the white people did to me.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold. At least you had the white racist teachers. I have the ones that be wearing them rainbow shirts, the ones that don't know their gender. Like, I really had those where I'm from. Like, no, but I'll leave it at that.
Yep. All I'm gonna say is a bra and a beard is a weird combination.
Real weird, especially when you're in elementary school.
Yeah. GL, you can go ahead. Magoka, do you know how to raise your hand? You press the heart button at the bottom of the screen, and then there's the hand emoji. You got to hold that and pick your color and raise your hand.
Okay, so I just wanted to speak on the Candace Owens thing because, I've followed Candace Owens for a while and I've always, given her credit on her facts as far as how conservatism can benefit our community. She's 100% about that. Always will give her credit. Now, I don't know if y'all remember kind of how she came on the scene, but as far as I was concerned, back in like 2018, 2019, she used to talk a lot about how her grandfather, who is on the ADOS, whatever you want to say, FBA side of her family, descended from slavery and how he owned a lot of the farms on this land. So I always assumed for some reason that she was, Black American. Now, 2020, 2021, she made a tweet about people from St. Thomas. And she talked about how, the people from St. Thomas, like we just happened to pass Black Americans in leaps and bounds. And I was like, oh, she's one of them. Like that was my aha moment as far as her vitriol and just jealousy towards us. See, at first I thought she was coming from a place of just, maybe a little self-hatred. She dates outside of her race or whatever. I thought it was more so a self-hatred type of thing. But no, she's just one and the same. And I told people this, I was like, the only difference between Candace Owens and any of these other immigrants, there is no difference. And now we know that. Now we understand where a lot of her hatred comes in of like, oh, you Black Americans could have been doing this. Now, if you notice, it got louder. And I don't know if she did that to kind of connect at first with us and kind of like I said, introduce her grandfather only. Because I don't know if anyone else ever remembered her bringing up St. Thomas before she did in like 2021. I never knew that she was of Caribbean descent. But yeah, it bring everything together for me. Just if you know my story, in 2015, I graduated from Hampton University. When I used to talk about this stuff, when I used to talk about how immigrants treated Black Americans, people said I was divisive. They said I was batshit crazy. I was doing the most. But a lot of Caribbeans, specifically Caribbeans, in my opinion, they hate us more than Africans. Like it's a different type of vitriol when it comes to Caribbeans, I swear to God, because every single one at my HBCU, the Caribbeans went the hardest at me when it came to bringing up Joe Biden, Kamala. And I had to be a little more, I had to turn it up a little more like, okay, well, this is my culture. Y'all do this because of your culture. These people hurt my ancestors. I had to be heavy on my culture. And that's when people started not to like it because they're so, they were so big on their culture. And I had to start saying, well, this didn't affect y'all, but it affected my culture. These are enemies of my culture, heavy on my culture. People hated me. They hated me and hated me until they couldn't help it anymore, but asked me questions because these people got in the office and they gave immigrants their ass to kiss too. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Candace Owens, she's 100% right when it comes to conservative principles. And that is the only reason that I, agree with some of the things she said and respect her to a certain extent. But yes, I feel like she is very jealous of Black Americans. I feel like she is just another tether in this case because of how she came out with her granddad. It was like a bait and switch type of thing. Ever since she made that St. Thomas tweet, it's like everything has just been out in the open. Everything makes more sense as to why, yeah, she looks down on us the way she does. And of course, she got a white man from a whole nother culture, really, not even an American white man. So it's all very eye-opening, and I just wanted to share that.
Well, thank you for that. It is the hate we get from the Caribbeans is very odd because they're the ones who say, well, the slave trip, we were all on the same boat. They just dropped us off at different locations and we were slaves too. So you'd think that they would have a closer connection to us than the Africans do because they could relate to the things that we went through a little bit more. But the jealousy, they have so much jealousy because we're the minority in this country and we've accomplished more than anybody from the diaspora. So much so, foundational Black Americans have really changed the world for the human race. We've really advanced the human race. If you really want to think about it, as far as us fighting for rights, as far as our music, as far as our inventions, we've really advanced the human race. As the minority that's oppressed in this country, they haven't done that. And they're jealous and they're hateful of that. Now, Candace Owens wants to talk about how she was picked on and no Black person wanted to be her friend. Foundation Black Americans, we're the most friendly people you could ever meet. We don't act like how the TV portrays us, where oh we're only gonna be cool with people who are cool. No, everybody has that. Okay, yeah, I get. Yeah, you're a little weird, you're a little nerdy, but I'm gonna still be cool with you. Yeah, you're gonna have some people who don't like you in high school. This is high school, but they use the high school um, analogy to justify their hatred and disdain for Black Americans. They are taught hatred and disdain. They have jealousy, hatred, and disdain for Black Americans. People ask me about Candace Owens all the time. Well, don't you agree with some of the things she says? She says some good things sometimes. Anybody can say some good things sometimes. As far as the conservatism, I agree. There's not like really a lot that I would say as far as that I disagree with, but it's the intentions of her saying it. For her to say, yeah, we need more Black fathers who live in the house, and we need Black well, she doesn't say Black families because she doesn't even have a Black family, but we need families and fathers. I agree with that. But her intention isn't this is constructive criticism because I want the group to get better. Her intention of saying that, despite it might be correct, her intention in saying that is because she wants to use that as a talking point to deflect from white supremacy and say, see, the problem is really you niggas. You niggas are your own problem. You need to do better. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. That's her intention behind saying it.
Oh, I forgot to add one last thing, y'all. She did win a settlement. This was back when she was in high school. It was a
Yes,
bunch
she
of white
did.
people that were harassing her. She won a settlement, a lot of money, and she never brings that up anymore. She acts like racism doesn't exist, but everyone knows that she got a lot of money based on her settling that case where they were calling her the N word with a strong ER, a man that she was dating. So I don't know why she doesn't talk about that, but it's very weird.
Yeah, racism was a problem when it was up against her. Then she got
Afro,
that bag, and next thing you know, she switched.
Afro.
Um,
She, just to make it clear, so because I know nobody else saw the interview, she made it very clear that she wasn't talking about some other African girls or some Caribbean girls. We all know what you say when you say Black girls and you're in America. We all know what you're talking about. She made it very clear. It wasn't like she was talking because let's be honest, we all got FBA homegirls and we know how they roast other girls. Like that shit's funny, but if you can't handle the smoke, get out the kitchen. It's simple as that.
yeah, just either brush it off or come back. Most of us, most of the time, when they're just roasting you, and like being friendly with it, you just do it back, and they'll laugh at it. They say, "Oh, well, you got a big hair. Well, you got yellow teeth," and you both laugh. That Candace, Lord, yeah, she specifically said Black girls. Now, no complaints about the white girls though. No complaints about white people. I find that very odd, despite because white people picked on her when she was an
You,
adult. That's why she
you,
got that money.
hey, you just know she was coddling up to them white people in her classes, and she got no friends. Bruh, she told some story about like her at the, I don't know, I forget it. It was so cringe, bro. It was so cringe.
Is that
Um,
on Spotify, Ryan? Is that gonna
Yes,
be
it's on the Off the Record. I think it's called DJ Academics podcast.
okay?
It's
I'm
it's
I'm
like
gonna watch it.
it's like 40 minutes in, I think.
Magoka or Makak, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but you can unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Good evening to everyone. I'm sorry, it's midnight here in South Africa, and it's winter. You know what?
It's
I
winter
cannot
in
speak
it's
for.
winter in South Africa.
Yeah, it's very cold
Oh wow,
actually.
okay.
You know what? I can't speak about maybe the Moors and Caribbeans. I respect them, but specifically speaking about the African continent. You know, like what I've experienced staying here and everything you're saying. I mean, you're correct. You're on the right path, and please do not relent. I've said it many times. Why I say this is because as a South African, and probably I mean, you know best what happened in Liberia, the invasion that happened in Liberia, and already now Liberia's been taken. You know, like basically what happened in Liberia is basically what's happening in South Africa, where people they come into South Africa. I'm giving you this scenario as an example as to what's happening in America to Black Americans as well. People come, and after that, like all your struggles, they don't understand. They don't care about those struggles. It's about their survival. All these things, the oppressions, them being treated bad by white folks, by white people at their jobs, and all those things that you cannot tolerate. I mean, they go through that, and they call you lazy, they call you stupid, and all those type of things. So it's survival. And basically what's going to happen is, after they is finished here, then everyone's going to come running there to, like to overcrowd you, like to I don't know, as to say, like the situation that happened in Liberia, like to overtake everything. They don't care about those things. It's about survival. So I just wanted to say that only. So to say that, I mean, you're on the correct path. You have to, I mean, speak about these issues. You're correct. And if you don't speak, and you're the group that can really raise these things to ensure that, I mean, everyone understands it. I mean, we need your help as to what's happening here in South Africa. I mean, if you do not raise, for example, I'll give you an example. There's if Dr. Omar speaks and mentions some of the political parties here, they'll raise their hand. They're so excited that he mentioned us. He knows about us. So that's the amount of influence that you have that you are not aware of. So as a result, I said that you need to speak about. I mean, speak up about these issues. I mean, perhaps it will help us because we really need help. There's a lot of people here. You can count over something like 70 million illegal people who are here, and they don't care about you. To them it's about survival. What you're trying to build, the a great black nation, a great country. They don't care about those things. To them it's about survival. And in their countries, you've got the Chinese. In Zimbabwe, they are farming. The people who are doing the farming in Zimbabwe are Chinese. And the same white people who've been chased out of Zimbabwe, they are in Nigeria. They are working in Nigeria, and Nigeria's got fertile lands, but they don't want to farm. They want to migrate to other countries. They're not willing to fight for their for promoting, for a prosperous Nigeria, prosperous black nation. No one wants to be a successful black nation. I want to have a great South African nation, but I mean, currently what's happening is, uh, you know what?
And
Maybe you
let me
should
jump
check the
in. Let me
news.
jump
Thank
in.
you.
Let me jump in real quick.
Okay.
That's what you should do. That's you having pride in where you come from. You know, you should be like, hey, I know it's bad where I am right now, but I'm gonna fight. And if I have to die fighting, then that's
Mm,
just what it is. That's the
exactly.
pride that you're supposed to have. You're not
Mm,
supposed to have the pride of somebody who's fleeing the country,
mm,
who's all like, you know what, this is just too hard for me. Let me get out of here. With no intention on going back. I'm never going back.
mhm.
It's just too hard. And then when you get there, disrespect the people, the natives of the land who gave you the opportunity to
Exactly.
even come here. Right now, I know that there's a more white minority in South Africa. I would advise you, and I'm going to be very careful because this is a recorded Twitter space. I would advise the majority of the South Africans to fight for their survival by any means necessary. And I would advise you to make it so uncomfortable, and I'm using my words very carefully. I would advise you to make it so uncomfortable and unwelcoming for the white colonizers that you guys are ruling the land. Because that's what you do when you have pride in where you come from. If
Mm,
somebody kicked my front door in and said, and just sat on my couch and said, "This is my house now, and you're gonna do what I tell you to do. Anything I tell you to do, you're gonna do it. This house belongs to me now because I'm taking it. But you're gonna do all the work. I'm not gonna pack my bags and be like, well, I guess I gotta find someplace else to live. Either you're leaving, or either you're going to leave my house, or that's just gonna be the end for me. Because I'm not going to acquiesce to you. And we have too often that happens in a diaspora. They're like, oh, I don't want to fight for my nation. I have pride for my nation on Twitter. I got my flag and my nation on Twitter, but I live in Kansas. I got pride for my nation on Twitter, but I'm in Texas. I'm celebrating Haitian Flag Day in New York. I'm celebrating the damn Dominican Republic parade in New York, in Chicago, like, are you serious? That's not real pride for your nation. If you have pride for your nation, then you will fight and die for it, and you will make sure that nobody feels comfortable coming there. Even if you lose, brother, even if you lose, you will die with respect. Self-respect from yourself and respect from your people and the diaspora. It's better to fight and lose than not fight at all. But yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if you understood me. What I was basically saying is, because in terms of governance, we are the ones in control now as black people, as black South Africans. But what I'm speaking about is about the issue of illegal black immigrants. What you are alluding, you were speaking about, like to support your case, like that people are not willing to fight for what's happening in their country, to make their countries prosperous. So basically, what they're doing is what we were fighting for, like fighting. Like you find, for example, I'll give you an example. You guys, people from Congo, from people from Zimbabwe, people from other countries, they come into South Africa, and what you've been going through, you're fighting, for black equality with white people. But what they do is they come here, they want to pay for work for low wages, and after that, when they work for low wages, they've been mistreated. And after that, when you complain about these issues, they call you lazy, they call you stupid, because they don't understand what you're fighting for. To them, it's about survival. I don't know. I'm not sure if you understand what I was trying I was highlighting. I was basically saying, like, you need to stand up. What you're doing, you're speaking about against African countries and black people is true. You need to speak that. You need to speak up. You don't need to relent on this issue. I mean, nobody will handle this. People need to know the truth. People need to fight for their countries. That's why I said that in Zimbabwe, for example, the white people that they said they chased out of Zimbabwe are in Nigeria, but the Nigerian in Nigeria does not want to farm in Nigeria. What he wants is to migrate to other countries instead of learning and making his country better. Instead of the Zimbabweans farming in Zimbabwe as he took the land, now the Chinese are the ones who are farming in Zimbabwe. So now the Zimbabweans are migrating to South Africa, and they're fighting you. They don't what your history. They don't care about your history. All they tell you is you are lazy. And what you're doing is you're trying to develop, like a country, a prosperous country. That's why I said, I spoke about Liberia, that, Liberia was not given a chance. Black Americans came to Nigeria, before they could even develop, what you call Liberia, according to their ideology, to make it the way they wanted. They were invaded. So basically, what happened in Liberia is basically what's happening to us in South Africa. Before
Yeah,
we put
and
out,
you know,
I want
other people
no,
were
I'll stop.
trying to get in real quick, but I get your point. I get what you were saying. Um, who else said that they wanted to speak? Okay, well, let me say this. Let me say this. When it comes to the diaspora, the reason why Black Unity has not worked is because everybody is relying on another group of people, specifically Foundation Black Americans. We've been the one that everybody calls on for help. We're the most capable. We're the people who have the most accomplishments. And when we need help, not only do we not get the help, but we get constantly bashed, constantly disrespected, constantly talked down to. And the dominant society promotes this. they allow them to have their platforms to get up on stage on the news and say we don't deserve reparations. Who allowed a damn Tether to get up on a reparations platform and say, oh, money isn't going to fix the issue? We don't want money. What we want is free education. Who allowed you to even be a part of the conversation? We don't go, as FBA, we don't go to other people's lands at all. And I say this all the time. Despite the fact that you're black, no matter where you go, you have to respect the land of the people. We don't go to any other land at all in the world, even in the diaspora, and then get mixed up with their politics, go against the grain of what the natives want for their political views. We don't do that at all. You would never see a foundational Black American become the president of Nigeria. They wouldn't allow that to happen. They wouldn't allow that to happen. We wouldn't be able to become the president of Haiti, Jamaica, South Africa, anywhere. They wouldn't allow that to happen, and that's understandable. But we have Obama, who's half Kenyan and then half white, Kamala Harris, who's half Asian and then half whatever, Jamaican allegedly. They come in here and then they get up into our politics and say, hey, all that Black History Month stuff, yeah, we don't need that anymore. All that reparation stuff, yeah, we don't need that anymore. That's disrespect that we don't do to them. Not only would we not be able to do that, we don't even desire to do that. We don't go to anybody else's land and speak down on them. But we've been so welcoming that they come to our land and they have the audacity to speak down on us. They have the audacity to talk negative to us and about us and tell us what we should be doing. And then all of a sudden you're crossing the line when you say, well, your homeland doesn't look that great. I said this once in a room and it triggered a lot of people. I said, foundational Black Americans, we're like that poor family that always welcomes people in anyway. No matter how poor we are, no matter how much we're struggling, we always make room for the next person. We're like that family that lets a homeless person come in because you lost your job, you lost your home, you ain't got nowhere to go, you're sleeping under a bridge. The homeless person comes in, we give them a shower and fresh clothes, and then they have the audacity to complain that we don't have enough food in the refrigerator. This and up there like, oh man, you guys got to change the light bulbs and it's a little bit cold in the house. Can you turn the heat up? And you don't have enough food in the refrigerator and y'all don't have HD cable? All the disrespect, all the criticism. Oh, this table's a little wobbly. What do you guys, you need some screwdrivers around here, walking through the house, nitpicking everything. I don't really like this soap. It doesn't really smell that good. Sitting on the couch. This couch is a little old to me. Just criticizing everything. And then the second we say, hey, well, weren't you homeless like a week ago? Then all of a sudden that's crossing the line. The second we bring up like, okay, the couch might be old, but it's more comfortable than that tent you were sleeping in. Oh my God, how could you say that about me? You know it is the government that is making it so hard for me. And we are all Black and I have to struggle and you have this. No. Y'all don't get to come in our house and then criticize because it's way better than where you were. Nobody's leaving my house to go under your little bridge and your little tent. The second we bring up the fact that don't you guys shit in the streets? Well, you have to understand, we don't have toilets like that. We don't have running water and all of these things. Okay, well, that's why we let you in the house. But since you want to disrespect, we got to put you in your place. We don't even mind helping. We've been doing that for the longest time, but don't wear our clothes, eat our food, and then pop your collar like you're better than somebody. I made this tweet the other day. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You wind up starving. And that's what they're about to do. You're about to see a whole bunch of hungry ass tethers coming up very soon. Beatzilla, you can go ahead.
All right. Real soon. And you know what's so crazy, just to piggyback on what you said, man, you know, look at it this way, man. When people need your help, they're supposed to be coming in humility. You have people coming to us who really actually, in all actuality, have already had our help, and they benefit being here from the help that they've already gotten from our ancestors, and then still coming to these spaces, coming to these environments, and talk down to us as if we are subject to them. And that is probably one of the biggest things that I don't know, either they're oblivious to, or they refuse to take the road of humility, just to simply look at us as some kind of as less than. But here's the reality. Taking the reparations point, man, these people are understand that right now. It's a psyche thing. You're hearing immigrant talk about, hey man, you know, why are you worried about cash payments? You know, cash payments really isn't all that important right now, you know, and that has to do with because with the cure, it changed so many things in our environment that have plagued and ailed us over the course of years. That's why so many people are worried. We are literally pulling the rug under some financial basis and even medical institutions for that regard, just for starters. So yeah, but these people need to come here humble when they deal with us, because at this point, we're awakened. You know, the lions are awake and we're roaming the cage, and you stick your leg in here, it will get bit off. So, you know, just be knowing, come here with humility, because we are very well aware on where we stand. So, you know, with that being said, I'll let my plane.
Before we get to NFT, I want to say they were complaining in the other space about calling ICE on black immigrants, You guys, that's off code. Come on, guys, don't call ICE on black immigrants. Now, here's my thing. Whether we do or whether we don't, you guys should be addressing your people to make sure we don't even want to do that. You guys should be so damn helpful. We don't even want to do that. The fact that we could call ICE on you guys and get rid of you guys means that you guys aren't helpful, and you know that. Nobody's going to kick you out if you guys are doing something to benefit us, but you're leeching off. A lot of them leech off of us. That's the issue. That's the problem. And it's a problem when we address that, when we address why Black unity hasn't worked. Remember in that space that I forgot what her name was, but she was somewhere in Africa. She was African, I believe. I know she wasn't FBA, but she was African. And she was all like, well, what do we do to bring back Black unity? You know what I'm saying? I just want us to all get together because we're all Black. And I mean, that's how she sounded. We're all Black. And I just want to know what we can do so we can all get together and work together and build Black unity, because we're, you know, I'm like, okay, all right. Since you asked for the solution, I gave it to you. I said, all of us, for the most part, and I'm not going to repeat myself all the way, but I said, for the most part, everybody needs to start pulling their own weight. Everybody needs to start doing their damn part, because you got foundational Black Americans straining our back, pulling the rest of the diaspora. And that's the reality. We have history to back that up. We're not just saying that. We're not being egotistical or big-headed. We're saying that because that's what the history says. The accomplishments of the Black race has come from us, damn near solely. So everybody else, pull your own weight. Everybody else, address your own people so they don't represent you. That's an easy thing for you to do. That's a very easy thing for you to do. The reason why we call Candace Owens out is because we want to make sure Candace Owens does not seem like she's the representative of Black people. The reason we call Larry Elder out is because Larry Elder does not represent Black people. Roland Martin does not represent Black people. John Lewis does not represent Black people. Jim Clyburn does not represent Black people. Barack Obama does not represent Black people. Kamala Harris does not represent black people. She might represent Asians though, but she does not represent black people. And we make it very known that these people do not represent us. In the diaspora, they don't do that. They let that Nigerian dude talk about how he wishes the Klan would lynch Clarence Thomas's ancestors. And Nigerians didn't say shit about that. They didn't say anything, nor did the Pan-Africanists. But they want to come to us about why can't we all just get along? Why can't we all just get along? Let's not do too much. That brings me back to the analogy I made when it comes to you getting picked on at the school and nobody's doing anything. Everybody else is acting blind about it. And then when you do something back, then it's all, oh my God, that's just too far. You got him fired. Did you really have to do that? I mean, you're gonna kill him. Nobody said anything about killing him. You just said, I heard Jason, Tariq, and Marcel in a space, and they said that they were gonna pay you guys to murder him. No, nobody said that. Yes, you did. You're gonna kill his whole family. Well, what? Nobody said that. Yeah. And every other African, you guys are going to go to Africa and you're going to start killing Africans now? Is that what you want? Well, no, we just don't want them to wish death on us. Look, man, I don't agree. I don't agree. Notice how she was saying that. Well, I'm not saying I'm defending him.
I think that was a guy.
No, that was just a dyke. That was a dyke. To my understanding, it was a dyke. From what I know, because she was following me. So she's one of those dykes, tethered, the dykish tethers. Nobody's defending him. Nobody's doing that. Oh, okay. Well, you don't want to call him out, so don't get mad when I have to. Foundation Black Americans, we shouldn't have to because you guys should be the first ones doing it. And if we don't do it, it would go unsaid by you. Because you guys don't want to say shit. You guys got your heads in your ass. Every time they say something, y'all acting dumb as hell. Like, what? I missed that. That's so, what? I can't believe they would say that. Well, I don't agree. I wasn't going to say anything, no, but I don't agree. I'm a disagree in silence when Black Americans get disrespected. Now, when Caribbeans get disrespected, I'm going to make a whole space about it. I'm going to make a whole space about how this is off code. I'm going to make a whole space about how that's too much, how we all need to unify, how we all need to come together when my people get disrespected. When your people get disrespected, I'm going to just disagree, quote unquote, in silence. I saw it, and I don't think that I don't agree with that at all. I just feel as if anybody can call them out. We're all brothers and sisters in this. NFT, you can go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a reader because readers are leaders. So I've been reading that Nearly Fuller book, and I'm on code, and I hate to be, I'm a student of Kwame Ture, right? And he said, you don't just sit outside an organization and say, oh, they're not doing it right. You join the organization, you become the number one fucking follower of the rules. You say, rule number one, because I read the book of your organization and I'm going to keep you to your standard because I didn't fucking make the rules, you did. You feel me? So I'm gonna say, hey man, has anybody actually read the book that we talking about? If we did, we off code. And that's all I gotta say. Very clear. There's 10 rules and we off code. And you can debate whatever you want to, but we off code. We off code, period.
A lot of us are. And this isn't me saying that every single foundational Black American is on code. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of foundational Black Americans who are off code. But the difference with foundational Black Americans, we make sure, we go out of our way to make sure the people, the foundational Black Americans who are off code, they get addressed. They get separated and ostracized from the group. The diaspora doesn't do that. I didn't have a space. Beatzilla had a space yesterday. And I was in his space speaking, and somebody said, oh, well, I'm not sure where this person said he was from. I forgot. But he was non-FBA, and he was talking about what can we do to get better and whatnot. And I said the thing is that nobody's saying every group of people don't have off code a section or percentage of people who are off code in their group. And we're not perfect. FBA, I'm not saying we're perfect, but the thing is that we make sure that anybody who's off code does not represent us. We make sure to, hey, that's a coon over there. That's a Knuckle Tom over there. That person doesn't represent black men. That person doesn't represent black men. That's women. That's a sellout over there. They don't do that. I said, coon is our word. Uncle
Off
Tom
code
is
though.
our word. Sambo is our word. All of these words, they're our words. So, wherever
Ali,
you're
that's
from,
off code though. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana.
hold on,
From
hold
New
on,
Orleans, Louisiana. But that's off
hold
code
on,
because
hold
it
on, hold
says
on.
right here that we can't.
Okay, hold on. No, 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 no. Listen. Okay. Before we get to your question, because I've read the book too. So before we get to your question, I want to say we do that to separate. We're using the term tether because that's a coon, just not from here. That's a coon with a specific agenda to tether themselves to us. Hold on. So that's what you guys need to do. You guys need to come up with your own words. And once you develop the words, the actions will follow. Once you develop the words to separate people from the group, then the actions of separating people from the group will follow. Right now, y'all chilling with the tethers because y'all see them the same. We don't see coons the same as us. We don't mess around with coons. We don't talk to them on a regular basis because we make sure we separate. They don't. Um, Now before we get to JL NFT, you said that's off code.
Yeah, man, that's definitely off code. It was very clear. The book didn't leave any room for interpretation. It just said stop name calling. So that's off code.
No, no, that's not name calling. That's categorizing. That's what we're doing. We're categorizing now.
Okay. I mean, you could categorize them as non-foundational. I mean, I mean, it's done. We redoing this. I understand, man, but off code to me. And
I've read the book,
I'm gonna
too,
preach
brother.
that.
I've
You know
read
what
the
I'm saying?
book, and we're not
Me
name
too. So
calling.
now
We're
you have another
categorizing.
person that's read the book, and we interpreting it publicly. I'm not leading the people saying, "Oh no, go look at the book." No, it said right here, pages 254 to 260. Go check it out. So
Brother,
I
brother.
mean, the rest of everybody else is just like, you should know. You should know. I'm not gonna assume you know. I'm gonna tell you. Go look right here, and then you let them know if they on code or off code.
First off, we're not name calling. We're categorizing, which he said was important. He did more than just write one single book. Okay, he
So
did more. He did a lot
non-foundational
of.
black is not a category.
No, there's a difference between being a non-foundational black, and then there's a difference between being a tether. A tether is a category of a non-foundational black American. We're not name calling, we're categorizing. That's what we're doing. And that's important for us to do because that makes progress.
I mean, I got
Uh,
questions about that book, man, because that book said,
I don't have a question. I
don't be
understood exactly
arguing
what
and
you meant
waiting
by
for
that.
white people to solve your problem." It said that. That's what it said. Don't argue amongst each other and then hope for a white
Who
man to
is
come solve
arguing?
your issues.
Who is arguing, sir? We're not arguing.
People that's
We're
off
laying
code
the
are
law.
arguing in
We're
front of the
arguing with
white
who?
He's a
people, waiting
troll.
for them. No,
We're,
I'm a
hold on, we're
dead ass black
arguing with
man.
who?
He's clearly trying to
Now
hold
you
up.
got people coming up who's read the book too.
Afro, let me respond to him. Real quick. Yes,
Hold on,
the book does says that. It says not to argue and not to name call.
wait,
However,
hold on. Before you go, JL doesn't have a lot of time left, so let me let her go before she leaves.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, I came up here and spoke on Candace Owens, but I didn't speak to the topic of the room, and I wanted to speak on that. Why has Black unity not worked? I feel like when it comes to B1, the reason I can respect that ideology, although I never necessarily, had B1 in my profile or anything, I don't know if y'all understand that it's a very limited number of us that is truly on code when it comes to Black American needs, when it comes to reparations, when it comes to a lot of things we're doing on this app. There can be this illusion, right, that there a lot of Black Americans are on this, but we are a very limited percent, y'all. So it would actually be crazy, right, if a African came along and said, hey, you know what, I'm gonna jump on the reparations movement. Hey, come along, because shit, we're a small ass amount, and I don't think enough people really know that. I don't think enough people understand that even though we've conceptualized all this going on in this world right now, a small group of us, this does not represent the majority of us. So really, to not say that you're B1 of someone that's willing to be on code, we've had spaces with South Africans. We've seen that a lot of their issues are the same as us. We have people building coalitions. That is B1. And I don't even think a lot of people understand the history, the context of B1. People from B1 were around here delineating before some of y'all came on the scene, respectfully. See, I'm always big on, hey, this is how long I've been around. This is how long I've been preaching this. In the beginning, people thought, oh, I was doing the most, or saying people were new. It's about giving context. You might want to know how long some of us have been here doing this. You get what I'm saying? So that's number one. I think when it comes to Black Americans, we've mastered, right, becoming tribal when it comes to groups. But it's like it's popularity contest. It's like fraternity, sorority type stuff, tribalism. Oh, this is my group. This is the popular crowd. This is, I just saw a quote in this space that we're doing. Oh, wasn't this guy just trying to, to call us out as a hate group? No, what's happening is, as Black Americans, we don't want to hold our own friends sometimes accountable, right? When they're out here maybe doing something that is going to paint a bad representation for us all. So that's what happened there. I think we have to step out of this mindset of just wanting to follow the crowd, and it's hard to talk about because a lot of us like to do it. But I do think that when it comes to us Black Americans, I feel like we need to be willing to be on code and really be that, not be on code as far as, oh, who can get with this group and who can link up. Like, we're not in high school, college. I don't know why some of us are here. I don't brag a lot, but I'm doing things in real life, and to a certain extent, I kind of wish I wouldn't have told some of these scumbags online what I'm really doing, because people be hating a little bit. They be stealing your words, but don't like you. Like, this is the envy and jealousy that we deal with in the Black American community. That's the sad truth about that. I feel like once we come together and we decide to stop being haters, from the elders to the younger people, like on some real stuff, we would actually get somewhere. Because one thing I will tell you, when it comes to people that are spending a lot of time on you, these Africans, these tethers, these haters, people do not spend time obsessing on something they don't see any value in. They don't obsess over something they don't see any worth in. When it comes to white people being racist towards you, I'm so sick of, oh, these white people, they look down on us, they hate us, they get lip injections to look like us, they get tans to look like us, they do everything in their power to become us. That's hate, that's jealousy, that's envy. I'm sick of people saying, oh, they're just looking down on you, they don't like you. They actually love me because they pay much attention to me, they pay attention to Afro. Anyone that's paying attention to you, there is love there. The opposite of hate is indifference. Never forget that. If people are focusing on you, honey, they love you. And I will tell you right now, everyone that has ever acted like they hated me, they just hated me so much, they use my exact words on this shit. They use my exact words. Now, if you guys know me, and this is the last thing I'll say, I'm about an individualistic mindset first to help the group. I've been preaching that for almost 2 years. People used to say, oh, that's being too individualistic. Now people use that same talking point. Don't know what's happening, but you know what I mean? It's funny, but what we have to understand is, to a certain extent, we have to build ourselves up to help our community. So I have that plan as far as what I'm doing, as far as my individualistic road to success, so that I can help my people up in a real way. We have to focus on that, because that is what other cultures do. And I think that to a certain extent, we have to practice nepotism. Let's stop acting like, oh, as Black Americans, I want to stay in the hood all my life. Oh, I don't want to be in the new condo. Shit, I got a new condo, honey, and I worked hard for it. I'm not from no privileged background. There's stuff that I've accomplished that I never thought that I would do. And I will tell you one thing, a lot of it starts in the mind, because everything in your mind, it supersedes racism, it supersedes illusions, it supersedes fitting in with these whack ass people that cannot help you outside of this app, because they don't got no heart, no heart for their real community on some real shit. They're not putting no money in their community. Y'all better wake up. Y'all better start focusing on who is really out here working and gonna put their people in a better environment, because all these games, all these hee ha ha kikis, a lot of us have gotten that out in high school, college. It wasn't even cool back then. Let's be real. Let's start, all this Afro eliti's trying to start, hey, you see this man, you see what he talks about day in and day out. No, you got friends that don't like him, and now you're starting to feel some type of way. That is whack. And anytime you got Aquarius men following the crowd, it's some real demonic shit, because Aquarius men was never, Scotty P been following you for years. And I always, you know what I'm saying? Like, for you to go in the quote tweets and say that about Afro Elite, like, I've always respected you, but it's weird. It's weird how certain things have people acting a certain way, and it's the Black American community. And the last thing I will say is what, besides racism, how these tethers act, immigrants, one thing that pulls at my heartstrings the most is seeing how some of us treat each other when we know we're out here doing the work. Somebody's out here for years been preaching this stuff, and you want to put them down, can't respect it. I'm not a popular girl, I'm not a mean girl, I might look good, I'm not trying to be cocky, but damn, like, I'm a good person. I don't believe in all that mean stuff. Like, we come here to build, we come here to put in work, and y'all have to start respecting the people that were here years before you, doing this before you. It's just a fact, and we got to respect that. Everyone says credit doesn't matter till they want their credit. Notice that. That's all.
That's true. Can I please respond to her real quick? Because I want you to know that I feel what you're saying, but I think it's not just the Black American community. There is a lot of hate. I'm trying to figure out why some women in the B1 community, and it's just a very small few of them, they have one-sided beefs with me that I never knew about, and I barely even speak, but they're angry, they're furious with me. They are furious with me about something. And it's something that they see when they see me, or see me in a room with you or Beezilla. I'm not doing anything but repping for my people. So you have to deal with hate when you know you're doing something good, and it hurts. It hurts really bad, but take that hurt and that energy and keep pushing and doing what you're doing, JL, and just let them hate on you.
I'm gonna say this before we get to the hands. The first time I ever got introduced to TS Giselle was me being tagged. TS Giselle was going in with Nino, and I had no idea about it. And then next thing I know, TS Giselle tagged me and was like, well, fuck Nino and Afro Elite. And I was like, who are you? And I kept saying that. I'm all like, I don't even know who you are. I have people who hate me, and I don't even know who they are. I don't even know these people. I said this in one space when I was going back and forth with Immortal. I was all like, I want you guys to go to his profile and see how often he mentions me, and then go to my profile and see how often I mention him. I barely mention this dude. This dude is always retweeting me. This dude is not retweeting me. He's always quote tweeting me. He's always adding me. He's making memes about me. I don't care enough about him to make a meme about him. I don't care enough to go to his profile, download his picture, go to another app, split that. I don't care enough to do that. If somebody makes a meme about you, if somebody makes a whole profile hating on you, that shows how much they really care. And if we study the works of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she says that happens a lot with white people. They hate us because of an intrinsic jealousy they have of Black people. They're jealous of Black people, and they're scared. And they turn that scare, they're scared of their race being wiped out. You heard when white people, you heard a lot recently of white people, they were all like, well, shit, if we ain't at the top, somebody's going to be. We don't want what we did to them. We don't want that to happen to us. So at this point, they feel like, hey, look, if we're not at the top, their minds are so twisted. They feel like somebody has to be the oppressor. They feel like, look, if we're not oppressing them, they will oppress us in revenge. We have to be at the top because we can't let them have a chance to get revenge on us. A lot of the hate, if somebody doesn't care about you, they won't mention you. You see how little I mentioned, and I'm only mentioning this person for an example. I don't mention Immortal. This dude was tagging me day after day after day after day. He had a whole space calling me an FBI. I would never make a space about Immortal Melon. I would never make a space about that dude. Do you see how often these people mention you and I don't make spaces about them? I
That
don't care.
nigga Immortal was
People
on
send
your
me stuff
dick,
all the
bruh.
time. Bro, people send me stuff all the
That
time
nigga was on your
about
dick
that
so
person talks about
hard.
you. People send me stuff all the time. That person said something about you. That person said something about you. I'm like, oh, okay. Now I don't know who that person is. Now I don't know who that person is. I
And we'll
have
talk
an
about you for
issue.
40 days and 40 nights, Afro. And the moment you say something back, oh my God, Asian, what? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy what people
Here Afro is. He's obsessed with the tribe. I'm gonna say this because I'm not even gonna go in solely on them. There was a Pan African channel on Instagram that I was following. Because I agreed with a lot because they were talking about like statistics as far as FBI, black people eating healthy, doing stuff. They really didn't push the Pan African stuff that hard. Every so often they would say something, and I'm like, I disagree with it, but I'm still gonna like the page. I'm still gonna like some of the posts and share it sometimes and comment sometimes. I'm still gonna support the brother because I agree more than I disagree. Then somebody, Ryan, you sent this to me. That person made a post about me dissing me. And it made me look, I'm like, dude, you could at least tag me. But you sit up there dissing me. I've been supporting you for all of these years.
Nigga, they
I've
was up
been
at
helping
7
you
a.m.
out,
sharp
helping your
dissing you
channel
this
for all these
morning.
years. And now that I've reached the level that you didn't expect me to reach, now you hate me all of a sudden. As you guys are coming up in life, family, trust me, that's gonna happen. As you come up, you're going to have the people that you supported, that you thought had your back. They're going to hate you for no reason except the fact that you eclipsed them. I'm not going to be too long. I want Rich to go ahead before he forgets what he had to say. But that was a really good point JL brought up. Rich, are you there? Okay, Tim, you can go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me okay, Afro?
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
All right. Okay. Thanks for letting me speak. Just wanted to hop in real quick. I was actually just hopping in to respond to NFT, quoted from the code book. And I just wanted to ask him, he's not a speaker anymore. And I just want to ask him, was he familiar with the term VGQ that's also listed in the book? And also in that book, was he also familiar with the terms that Mr. Fuller also stated to best let people understand, to best help have people understand what you're going to say? It's okay for you to make up your terms. It's okay for you to actually make up terms so people can actually understand. I just wanted to ask NFT that, and also I'll come back and speak on the on the space that was held last night. That is kind of it's really funny with that dude, with the Nigerian guy. He's actually been around for years. Of a lot of people know him. He's been around for a lot of years, and he's always said a lot of weird things. Even the name he's using, the Tether Locklear, that's actually a play on a 80s. I think that's a play on the 80s chick that used to play in the show.
Heather Locklear, yeah.
Yeah, crackhead, cokehead. They ran trains on her and all kind of stuff like that. So that's kind of crazy for somebody to be comparing themselves to a 80s white woman. Also, I just wanted to say real quick, if you have a track record for doing certain things, especially on here, well, most people will find you and most people will remember those things. So I just find it just very strange that you have a lot of people who have reinvented themselves and think people don't understand what they're saying. Just always remember they're people who've been around. I'll just end on that, but I'll go back to my original question to NFT. Are you familiar with VGQ? And are you familiar with the fact that Mr. Fuller says you should actually make up certain terms that you can actually use to make people understand what you're saying? He said that he actually says that's allowed. He's spoken on that many times. I'll mute my mic.
Okay. To answer your question, I would say, along with observing what others are doing to end racism, what are you doing? What do you intend to do? And when do you intend to do it? Why hasn't it been done before? I am attempting to onboard Black people into Web3 so that we can talk in decentralized areas, so that these people cannot monitor our every fucking conversation. And I would like for you to answer that question since we're talking about page 199 of the book.
I'm back, fellas and
Okay.
ladies.
Can I respond just real quick? Real quick, Rich. Just real quick. Some of the things.
So can everybody be kind of short with their answers? But go ahead.
Oh yeah, this will be quick. This won't even be 50 seconds. Certain things I've done in the Black community is I've supported community gardens. I've started several in the area where I live. I've supported several documentaries from many of the people in Black, that I've never spoken out on. One of those was Wilmington on Fire, the very first one. Not just and there's even a second one that I've contributed money to. Lots of money. A couple people I know that have actually done documentaries. I've contributed to that. Lots of different things I've spoken about in my city in regards to race and stuff that I tried to do in the background. I've gone with, but most of the stuff I do by myself. But I have a buddy that I, like over the past few years, I've actually gotten with him and done a few things. It doesn't really take a lot of people to do those things. I hope that answers your question. But again, okay. since we're talking about NFT, answer my question. Are you familiar with the term VGQ? What does it mean?
I wasn't until you just said that, but then I went on to page 199, and according to compensatory counter-racist logic, as long as white supremacy exists, every victim of white supremacy non-white person possesses a victim guarantee qualification. So VGQ is victim guarantee qualification, which is basically the notion that what you guys are saying, and this is why you're delineating from them. So again, but what it said to do when asked about this on, in white platforms was to do what I did. So I'm glad that you qualified yourself. We both qualified to speak on this issue, and I hope that we move further in that capacity. So we're not just talking about things and we're not understanding what we're talking about.
Sorry to cut you off, but read a little bit more in the book. It also says that, Mr. Fuller also advises that you treat everybody as though you're dealing with someone as a white supremacist until they determine otherwise by actions. So use the term VGQ. It can mean many things, but that definition was specific, and even Mr. Fuller has somewhat changed it up over the years. So I just don't understand why you brought up that other argument to begin. But anyway, I'm gonna end. So Rich,
no, it's because you needed to qualify to your actions based on.
Okay, we got hands. So Rich, you can go ahead. Because we don't want to do the back and forth thing. We got more people who haven't spoken yet. So I want to get to people who haven't spoken.
Let me just say this real quick. Somebody's Reggie, could you mute your mic?
Oh yes, sir. How y'all doing this evening?
Yeah, mute your mic, brother.
Muted.
Brother out here vacuuming. Okay.
He's at the car wash right now. So damn, he made me lose my damn point. But to answer what NFT was saying, we're not literal over here, people. We're not gonna follow every single rule in the book. There's things that Neely Fuller says I don't agree with. I don't agree with not calling coons coons. I can't help myself but call a coon a coon. I'm not about to stop that. How do I label somebody who is being treacherous and evil towards the black? I'm just gonna call him No Name, Mr. No Name, the one that's doing all that shit towards the black community? No, I have to label people certain things. So there's things in the matter of fact, in the book, Neely Fuller says if you meet a woman or if a man meets a woman, you should lay naked with that woman or that man for 365 days without touching them. Are you going to follow that rule? I know I can't help myself if I got to follow that rule. I ain't going to be laying next to no woman for 365 days without touching her. But that's one of Neely Fuller's rule. Lay with a next to a woman for 365 days without touching them and have a conversation. We're not going to be literal here, people. We can't follow the rule down to the T. I don't agree with Neely Fuller with not calling coons and sambos and tethers. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe in that rule. There's certain things we're going to grab that we like, and there's certain things we're just going to leave in the table. If you want to follow that rule, be my guest. But I'm not about to not call coons. And just, I'm going to make this real quick. I'm going to make a second point, because what JL said is very true. Most black people around the world are not on code. So we over here throwing people in the garbage like non-FBA folks. A lot of people do that to me. Oh, Rich is non-FBA, but he's speaking on FBA business. Okay, but I'm on code. I never said anything that was disrespectful towards FBA. Everything FBA stand for, I stand for. But niggas want to throw Rich in the garbage because Rich is non-FBA. Like we got a whole bunch of conscious people out here where you got the luxury to throw people away like that. Ain't much conscious black people out here. Most black people are coons. FBA or not FBA. That's just the 100% truth.
Whoa, brother. That's not true. That's not true. Most
NFT,
black people
slow
are
down.
honorable
NFT,
and
slow
good
down.
people, and they work hard.
NFT, slow down. You just a nigga that like to argue. Slow your ass down, nigga. Because it's the second night you
my
came.
brother.
Slow down. This is the second night you came in here, day you came in here, where the first thing you want to do is just argue. Niggas don't come in here and just argue all day, brother. That's not what these Twitter spaces is for. You new here. Everybody that's speaking right now spoke before. So slow your ass down, nigga. Like I was saying, most black people are not on code. So how you just gonna be out here just throwing the on code people away like you got that type of luxury? We don't have that type of luxury. If a black person on code, whether they're non-FBA or FBA, and they're not saying no reckless shit, why are we throwing them away? This is why I had a problem with that group over there, because they was like, oh, if you're not an FBA, you can't speak on nothing. Like, excuse me? So am I supposed to go link up with my Haitian people? And what I'm about to go speak with my Haitian people about, they not on code. I'm rocking with FBA because FBA is on code. This is why I'm in these Twitter spaces with FBA, because that's the group that's on code. I'm here to assist. Where to work at? Where the white supremacists at? Y'all got some white supremacists that need to be smacked? Point them out. Rich will go smack them. Y'all got some Haitians that need to to be smacked? Point them out. Rich will go smack them. That's what I'm here for. But y'all they want me to go link up with other Haitians. Oh, go over there and go get Haitians on code. Them niggas is not on code. They're not interested. This is why Rich is over here. And I'll land right there.
But B-Zilla, I want Marcel to go because he hasn't spoken at all yet. So before he goes, let me say this. Most black people around the world, and this is everywhere in the world, are not on code. We'd be in a very different position if everybody was on code. We talk amongst each other. We're all on code here. We all have that agenda. But you just had a whole bunch of black people vote for Jim Clyburn over Marcel. Is that on code? No. So you have a lot of black people who are not on code. It's our job to make sure we band together with every black person who is on code. I don't care if you was a damn Martian. If you a black Martian, if you the damn Martian manhunter and you on code, you talk about reparations, then okay, all right. I'm not. We can sit down and have dinner or lunch. I'm not sure what you're gonna be eating, but I'm gonna have me like a steak or something, and you can have some spiders or whatever you eat. But as long as you on code, then we can get together and we can do something. We can make something happen, because that's the only thing that matters at this point. Marcel, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think Reggie was ahead of me.
Reggie?
But yeah, I think he was about to speak.
No, I brought you up before Reggie. I remember.
No, you go ahead, brother Marcel. Brother Marcel, you go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. So I'm gonna have to be a little quick because I'm in and out. But I know I was in Uncle Luke's space yesterday about Black unity, and on the surface, I get it. I think all of us would like to have Black unity, but unity is overrated. It really is. Unity is overrated. Division has its place. Division definitely has its place. We cannot unite with everyone. Okay? I've always used the analogy. A wolf in the forest is not going to unite with every wolf in the forest. You don't see one big pack of wolves. There are packs of wolves. Those wolves are uniting with wolves on the same mission as they. That's why they're not another pack. We have to be like the wolves. We can't unite with everyone. Everyone's not on the same mission as us. So I get what Luke was talking about. And I was going to come up there my reparations talk, but he already knows that about me. He already knows the argument for it. I wanted to talk about more of a grander scale about as Black people, generally speaking, as a race in the U.S., how we want to put all these other identities in front of us. Now, my lineage is going to be the primary identity of freedman or foundational Black American, descendant of American slaves, whatever term wants to be used. I prefer freedman. That is my main identity. The problem with us, we want to put everything before those identities. Oh, LGBTQ. Oh, non-binary. Oh, I'm New Yorker. Oh, no. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican first. No, I am a freedman first. And what's good for freedmen